How are you guys doing today? My name is Ray. I am one of the three kings here at Three Kings, and one of the things that we are gonna talk about today is the question that most people keep asking me. I have a lot of people asking me, Ray, how come um, you propose to your wife? How come you propose to her after only 3 months of dating? How do you know? How do you know she was the one? How do you know that you were ready to take the next step with this person? What do you feel? Um, and guys, it's a very hard question to answer because it is a feeling that is undescribable. So I'm gonna try to explain it as the best that I can for you guys. So basically, one of the things that I always tell people is that I just knew. I just knew um, from the bottom of my heart. I really just knew it, like in the back of my head. And you guys gonna see in a minute. I'm gonna interview my wife, and I'm gonna ask her the same questions. I'm gonna show her interview in a minute, but I just wanted to tell my part. And my part is that I just knew. I just knew. I just knew deep in my heart that she was the one. Like I had no questions. I didn't have to question it. I didn't even have to think about it for too long. It is a feeling that it was undescribable. She was different. That she was completely different than most of the other people that I have dated in the past. In the past, you know, I dated many different women. I dated many different uh, personalities, and there were some people, there were some women that I felt like, hey, this person is the one. And I even wanted to marry some of them, and I became attached to them in that type of way. Um, but but then something didn't feel right with them. Even though I wanted to marry and I wanted to take the next step with them, something was off. Something was making me question it. Like, do I really want to take the step with this person? Do I really want to take that step? Do I really want to take it that far? Um, I thought about it and I thought about it. Um, and there were many times that I wasn't sure. And, that whole questioning thing, made me wait a little longer, which in turn made me realize, no, that was not the right person for me. Um, but when I met my wife, Julia, as you guys are gonna see in this video that I'm gonna play for you guys, this interview, um, she was different. As soon as I met her, um, it, it wasn't like right in the instant. It wasn't like a love at first sight type of thing. But after getting to know her a little better and spending time with her, there was a connection. There was something. There was something that in my heart was telling me, man, this is the right woman for me. This is the person for me. This is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Like I didn't even have to think it. It was just in here. It was undescribable. It's really hard to explain. Only if you have felt this. Only if you have been, if you have known this early. Only if you've have felt this type of love before, is that you can understand what I'm talking about. There's a feeling that you cannot explain it. If you want to marry her and you cannot explain why, and you don't even have to question it, the why, that's when, in my opinion, that you know. That's when you know, in my opinion. There are many. Uh, you could go look at society. What we did. Okay, we got together. I got engaged 3 months after meeting her, after getting with her, or her becoming my girlfriend. Um, you know, you could look at society, and hear what they say and follow what they say. You know, according to society, that's wrong. You know, who wants to get married after 3 months? Like, why would you get married with somebody after 3 months? Well, let me tell you this. I'm about to hit 10 years married with this person, with Julia. And it was the best choice I ever made. Why? Because I follow my heart. I follow that nudge. I follow that feeling inside. And I'm not talking about my egoistic or pattern driven or society driven or um, that ego driven type of obsession. No, it wasn't an obsession. It was, I went past all of that. I went deeper. I went deeper on the inside and I felt it in there. And once I felt that in there, that's it. It was locked in. I knew she was gonna be the one. And like I said, after 3 months I proposed. I married her like 8 months, 8 months or so later, and we were and we've been living together ever after. She's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Um, I cannot see myself with anybody else, and but we're gonna show you. We're gonna show you. I'm gonna show you her side of the story, and I interviewed her earlier today, and we're gonna let's see what she has to say. But in my opinion, in my part of the story, just remember, in my opinion, when you know, you just know, and that's what I gotta say. That's when you're gonna know. That's when you're gonna know. So let me just play this thing for you guys. Let me play for you, and I'll see you on the other side. All right. So here's so today, so I got here my lovely wife. Um, after she's right here, right next to me, and she's laughing at me as I'm making this video right now. Because that's the way she is. That's the type of relationship that we have. Like I said before, we got you know, after 3 months of being together, we got engaged, and I proposed, and she said yes. So I got her here. You guys already heard my part. And I have her here to see, to ask her some questions, and to so she could share with you guys, what was it that made her say yes? What did she see in me that you know, or why she decided to marry me, and what did she see, and why she made the decision that I was the one for her? So let's get to it. So I want to work on my wife, Julia, and here she is. So let me. So the first question that I have for you, babe, the first question is, what was it? Because I came to you. I remember I proposed to you. What were you thinking at the moment? I know it was only 3 months, but at the moment that I proposed to you, what what were you thinking at that moment?
Honestly, the first thought in my head when I saw the ring and that I was actually getting proposed to, honestly, was what the fuck is happening? Um, like, are you sure? Because I'm a bit of crazy. So are you sure that this is what you want to be getting into for the rest of your life? I think it was more a little bit of a shock that it was happening, being that it was just 3 months into us dating. But in that time period, it just, you know, felt different than the other people that I in my past have been in relationships with. It just um was easy, if that makes sense. And it wasn't hard for me to respond yes, even though a big portion of my mind was like, "What the fuck?" Um, and, at the time, though, honestly, them TRICARE benefits were looking pretty decent. No, I'm kidding. I kid. This is what I do to him all the time. But it just seemed so yes, just seemed like the natural answer. So that's why it was easy for me to respond with yes after, 3 months in.
I know you mentioned TRICARE right now, and, and I know it was a joke, but for those that don't know, like, again, I used to be in the military, and um, and I used to get TRICARE benefits, and um, TRICARE benefits is medical benefits. Basically, you get a basically it's free medical when you're in the military. You may have a copay here and there, but it was and it was amazing. It's a great good healthcare, and a lot of people talk about um, a lot of people talk about how some women go after military men because of the TRICARE benefits. So that's why that jokes was coming out.
And for the record, at that time, I had my own medical benefits. So medical insurance was not an issue. I had my own. I was supplying myself with medical insurance at the time anyway, so I just like to tease him any chance that I get.
but all right, let's move. So you said okay. So you said you had like a what the fuck moment or like what the heck moment is going on. But and I knew at the moment I was in the military, but was there anything like what about my character? Was there anything like do you feel anything when it comes to like my energy, the way I move? How do you knew like 100% like what felt like? Do you feel something inside? What do you see? Did I look like I could be a good provider, or like what was it like? What would you tell a young girl or a young man, even a young man that's right now might be 19, 21, 25, or even a 30-year-old man that's planning to find that person, find the one, and he's thinking, oh, should I propose? Should I propose to this girl? Should I not? Uh, and he's undecided on making that jump, or somebody who's just looking for a person right now. What would you tell that young person right now um, that would be a deciding factor for when it comes to saying yes, saying that big yes.
On one side, part of me says that if you yourself as the person who wants to propose, um, there's a small part of me, and I'm not saying that this is 100% fact. Um, there's a good portion of me that's saying that if you have to question yourself, like, do I want to propose to her? Um, maybe it's not the right thing to do because you are questioning it. And not that questioning is a bad thing, but the entity of marriage in itself is not something that should be taken lightly. And just that should I propose or should I not? That in my opinion, just to me, this is my own personal opinion, just to me that shows that you are unsure if um you want to spend the rest of your life working with that person. I'm not saying you don't love that person, you don't have a love for that person, you're not in love with that person. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But I grew up in a household that my parents, they got married in the 70s. Um and now in 2023 they're still married. So that's almost 50 years that they're still married. And they in a way we're like us, but slightly different because you and I, we were engaged at 3 months. My mother and my father in 1973-ish, somewhere around there, they actually got married. They signed they went to City Hall. They actually got married 3 months after meeting each other. So, you and I, by the time we got married, we already knew each other for, like, at least a year. We were only by the time we got engaged, we were just, dating for 3 months, and we were engaged, planning the wedding. They were legit married, signed the papers, they were husband and wife after 3 months of knowing each other from, like, day that they met until they signed those papers, and almost 50 years later, they're still together. My mom was 21, my dad was 20, and now this year my mom is turning 70, and they got married on my mom's birthday. So on her 70th birthday is also their anniversary, and she was 21 when they actually got married. So you guys could do the math on how long my parents have been married at this point, and that's the example that I was raised with, and I feel like that's a whole different story that I could go into at a different time. But I feel like if you genuinely want to spend the time with that person, you wouldn't need to ask yourself, should I propose or should I not? It should be, when am I going to ask this person to marry me? Whether it's Raylan asking me, hey, will you marry me? Or me asking him, because now in these days, anybody could ask anybody, hey, let's get married. I want to marry you. You're the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I feel like um, you just know. And even though I was in a what the fuck type thing, it's more like a, wait, is this really happening? Because honestly, when you and I met, I wasn't even really looking for any type of relationship. I was in graduate school. I was getting my master's in education. I was trying to get my career as a teacher started. So I was not looking to have any type of relationship, especially with um the last like two people that I dealt with. Before you, I'm like, you know what, F this. I'm just gonna focus on getting my degree, get my job, get my career set, um, get that started, get that set, be able to stand on my own 2 feet. And then out of nowhere, you showed up and I'm like, this is different. It was just a lot easier than the relationships that I've been with in the past. And by this time, I was 23, 24. So it's not like I was some young little nothing. I already lived my crazy college dorming life, had that experience. So I already had like the craziness out of my system. At this point, I was in grad school again, trying to get my education done, because growing up in New York City as an educator, a master's degree is a requirement to remain in the profession. So I wanted to ensure that I had my ducks in a row to get my career straight. And, now I was also working as a teacher at the same time. So I had my job, I had my steady paycheck, I had my medical, my pension starting set up. I was going out because, hey, I'm working, I'm making good money. I have no kids. I don't pay rent because actually I live in my parents' house. I was giving them money every month because I felt like that was the right thing to do after they have financially supported me, um and given me everything that I've wanted. So like that was my way. I'm making steady good income now. I want to help you out with something in the household. They didn't ask me for it. I did it on my own because that was how I felt like I could help them back. Um, so I just had this cash flow that was disposable because I really didn't have other responsibilities besides, my car payment, car insurance, my cell phone bill, um, my whatever I put on my credit card at the time. So it's like I had this cash flow. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna use this money because I could pay, I'm paying all my bills at the end of the month. And it in a way it was just kind of like blindsided, like, holy shit, like this is what a healthy relationship, even though it's only a few months in, like, um this is what a healthy relationship looks like, is even though it had its ups and downs of being long distance, you being military. We were at the time, even though you were raised in New York, living somewhere else. So it had its own obstacles, but it didn't feel like obstacles. It just was easy. Um so that, and the fact that you were willing, I remember that first birthday of mine after we started dating, like, I remember you were saying, "Hey, I'm going to see somebody who lived like in Delaware or somewhere close by at the time." Um, at least from where you were stationed when we first started talking. Um, and I'm like, "All right, I know you're going to be driving. I'll talk to you later. My mom is helping me plan this, put together this lesson for my kids tomorrow, blah, blah." I remember my mom and we took a quick trip to Staples, um, which is like where everybody went to get like school supplies and a whole bunch of stuff. And we went there to get some stuff for me to do a lesson. I remember the next day I was going to be teaching my students a lesson on how to tell the time in Spanish because I'm a high school Spanish teacher. Um, and we're driving home we're like about to pull into the driveway from Staples, and I lived in I guess you could call it suburban area. Um, and saw some random car that was like double parked. I'm like, who is this jackass double parked in this narrow street? Go in, I'm in a freaking basketball shorts and an overgrown t-shirt. I don't even know if you remember that. And then like 5 minutes later, I hear knock, 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 and it's this one over here knocking on the door. Hey, surprise! I was able to get a week leave to come home for your birthday, and I'm like, wait, people actually do this for somebody that they like, because we were only it was only a couple months in, so it just like if it brought meaning to me. If they wanted to, they would. And from the beginning, that's what I saw. If he wanted to, he would. Raylan wanted to, so he did. It was never a question of, do I really want to? Yeah, I want to, so I'm going to. And I'm stubborn, so if I want something, I'm going to do what I can to get what I want. A lot of people like to think that I'm spoiled. No, when I want something, I'm going to get what I want. So it's kind of the same in relationships. If you want something, if you really wanted to, you would. And in a way that's also what, in that short 3-month span, is what, made it easy for me to say yes, because if you wanted to, you would, and you did. So it was, I'm like, hey, I don't really know what I'm going to get into in the future, but let's figure it out together. We're still young, let's figure it out.
Exactly. Um, and you know, I felt the same way. On my part, I did. One of the key things that I took from there is one of the one of the main reasons why what I tell everybody, when they ask me, because a lot of people ask me how, how did I get, how did I know so soon? How did I know? And one of the thing is like, I just felt it. It just felt right. Like I knew it. Like I already knew it on the deep down level. Yes, even though I had all this society programming in my head, all this social programming saying that, oh man, 3 months for you to propose, yeah, that's too soon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, I was like, nah. I never been one. I never been a person that follows society rules anyway, and she knows that. I never really follow society rules. I just go with what I feel down in my heart, what I feel to be true, and that's what I did. I remember I sat down in my bed and I was thinking for a second, and I was like, okay, I wanted to go forever, and that's a thought that I really never really had, but down to the down code. Yeah, there's been many girls that I have had, and I feel like, oh yeah, maybe I want to marry this girl. Yeah, I want to marry this one. But I always question it. Like it never really felt right. But this one time, it just felt different. It was just it's a feeling that is really hard to explain. And so 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 if you asking yourself, what is it that I need to know, or what is it that how do I know when I should marry that person? The real answer is you will know. The truth is you will know. You're gonna feel it. It's gonna feel different than everything else in your life. It's a feeling that cannot be described. Is you will know. And when I felt that feeling that it was different, it was like my heart was telling me, okay, this is the right person. So I follow it. And look where we are now. We're about what, 9 years and 11 months together. So next month we hit 10 years married, and and one basically just 1 year of not dating basically because I proposed after 3 months, but then we got married like yeah 7 to 8 months later, like and and then that's how things work out. But um, so if you're asking yourself again, how do I know? Like I said, there is no right answer to that. Only you will know, and you will know the right person. If you have to question it a lot, or you wondering, or you questioning that, then that's not really. Then, in my opinion, like she said, in her opinion, in my opinion, it's a no because or it's not the right time. It could be a no or it's not the right time because no, you don't want to dismiss a person either. If right now at the moment you don't feel it, it may not be the right time. But if you're about to pop the question and you're questioning and you're feeling that way, not right now. Just give it some time. So
And I say that just experiencing people around me, like I said, I'm the youngest in my family. I'm the youngest of three. There is a 12-year age gap between my brother and I. He's the oldest. There's a 9.5, 10-year gap between me and my sister. Um, my brother has been with his wife. Um, I'm turning 36. That means add 12 years to that. That's how old my brother's turning this year. So 36 plus 12. You're the mathematician. That's what, 48? It sounds about,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So my brother's about to be 48 this year. He's currently 47. Um, he's been with his wife. Like they've been together since they were 18, since they were in college. It took, she is the most amazing person for him. Like she is amazing. She is a great wife, a great mother to their children. Um, I don't have anything like I there's nothing negative I can say about her. She is an amazing person. Um, my brother, um, they dated for 10 years before my brother proposed to her. you know? They dated for 10 years before my brother popped the question to her. And she is, she is a person from now their oldest child just turned 18. My first nephew just turned 18. So like goes to show you they've been together for more than half of their life. They're about, they're creeping up on 50 and they've been together since they were freshmen in college. So that's why I say, in my opinion, if sometimes it's not a matter of is this the right person, but maybe like you said, the timing of when you want to propose isn't the right time. Um, so it doesn't necessarily mean that that's not the person for you, that that's not the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. But maybe and a lot of times for a lot of people, the institution of marriage is not for them. People are very happy of being together, spending the rest of their life with each other, without the whatever of marriage. For you and me, it was the right thing to do. For the people in my personal family, it was that was what was in the cards for us, but it's not for everybody, and you have to know yourself good enough, well enough to understand if marriage itself is something you want, or are you content with how your relationship is? Because I know plenty of people who have been together for years and they're each other's person, they're each other's, as the Friends episode and Phoebe put it, they're each other's lobster. I don't know how many Friends fans are out there. um but you don't always need to get married to be with your person, because maybe that's just not what your thing is. You need to know yourself, you need to know your partner, and what works for you guys, because what works for Raylan and I is not going to work for the next person. Not many people would have been able to deal with everything we've gone through over the last 10 years. It's just knowing yourself, knowing your partner. So
Yeah, and with that said, I wanna first thank you for taking your time, babe, to answer some questions that you never know. It might help somebody out there. Hopefully, it could help one of you guys. If you like in that in between, maybe it could help you figure something out. When you do get married, yes, don't expect something. Don't get mad. Don't wait for something to be perfect because it's never gonna be perfect. You learn a lot once you are married. Like I said, we're gonna be married about 10 years now, and we have learned so much about each other. There's a lot of stuff we didn't even know before we even got married, but we work with that um, throughout the time, throughout time, and we learn from each other. We learn how to work with each other, and we became one of the great partners. And 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 with that, I just want to let you guys, just want to leave you guys with that. And thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you.